There are so many myths in this narrative. I mean, many Israeli historians also show that there was no attack by the Arab states. Israel was involved in a preemptive attack, even before any Arab states could, attack Israel. But having said that, the Palestinian land was colonized by the British, like countries in Africa and elsewhere were colonized by the Europeans. The United Nations decided without consulting the people who lived there. There were Jews who lived in Palestine before the State of Israel was formed in peace. The Europeans attempted to exterminate the Jews, much to their shame. And they had the Holocaust, this horrible occurrence where 6 million Jews were killed. The Palestinians had nothing to do with it, and yet they are now said to be wanting to exterminate the Jews. All Palestinian organizations have said they formed a government of national unity. There was the Mecca Agreement, including Hamas said that if Israel withdraws to the 67 borders, it's a very generous offer, because in fact the 67 borders are 22% of historic Palestine. They're not asking for the majority of land either. They want to live in peace. Israel has got 10,000 Palestinians in detention. They contravene the Geneva Accords by the extrajudicial assassinations. Gaza, the most densely populated area in the world, is an open prison. An Israeli writer said that what you find there, actually between the factions, is a prison riot. It's inhuman. People are brutalized all the time. They don't have access to basic things. So really, Rolene needs to check her facts. In our country, they said the same things. It's a land for a people without a land. That's what they say. Palestinians didn't exist, they said. In our country, they said they came here at the same time black people were moving from Central Africa. They used the Bible for the justification of the apartheid regime. And we see so many parallels. They said if black people come to power, white people will be driven to the sea. Those are all myths. The point is, if we have basic rights for all who live there, if we have people with equal rights, I assure you there will be peace. Every Palestinian organization wants peace. They want Israel to respect international law. Nothing more, nothing less. And there will be peace.
Okay.
I think what Israel wants is for Hamas to respect the majority. She wants Hamas to respect the parameters set by the quartet, which is the European Union, the United Nations, the USA and Russia, who call for three very basic principles. Recognize the state of Israel's existence, return to preset conditions which Israel has negotiated with the Palestinians, and return to the roadmap for peace. The issue that Israel has with Hamas is that in the Hamas charter, they quite blatantly call for the extermination of Jews. But again, my point is this, Danielle, is that we can continue to play the blame game ad nauseum. The bottom line is we're sitting with a situation that needs to be sorted out.
Okay, now, how do we sort this situation, Mr. Vally? Rolene says history happened. This is where we find ourselves. The way forward, I think really that's what we should look forward to, is it not?
It's very simple. Just abide by international law. International law says break down the apartheid wall.
Break down the apartheid wall. Do you think Israel is happy to do that? Now, I mean, we're talking the way forward now. This is a call. Break down the
International Court of Justice.
Yes, break down the apartheid wall.
The separation wall has been set up to allow Israel to protect her civilians. Since its building, the Islamic Jihad have admitted themselves that they cannot infiltrate into Israel to carry out their homicide operations. We spoke earlier about the Qassam rockets being fired into Israel. There is no separation barrier between Gaza which I must add that Israel disengaged from in 2005, taking out every Jewish citizen.
Just to come
and
in, if I narrow it down, it's not going to come down anytime soon then.
I like to believe that we will one day find ourselves in a situation where a mutual peace has been agreed upon, and like the Berlin Wall and many walls before it, we can tear that wall down.
Let's try and do that point to point then. That's the call. And right now, from what I'm hearing, it's not going down. What would you want to see happening right now for the way forward?
I would like to see those on both sides sincere about making peace.
This is a call to Israel. Let's hear a call from Israel to the Palestinians.
I would like to say to the Palestinians, come to the table, come talk peace with us, recognize our suffering as we recognize yours. We don't want to see you bury your children anymore. We don't want to bury our children anymore. Let us negotiate a way forward that we have two states with secure borders, two thriving, viable economies, so that we can tear down those walls, both physical and emotional.
So, come to the negotiating table.
Absolutely, that's what the Palestinians want to do. Let's look at our country as an example. Nelson Mandela, the ex-president, was offered the release from Robben Island if he recognized the Bantustans. He refused to do that. He called for a just peace. South Africans involved in the liberation struggle were called terrorists every time they demanded their just human rights. Palestinians are called terrorists. They are involved in a legitimate struggle. The international law says if you are occupied, like the French were occupied by the Nazis, they had the right to resist, to defend themselves. The security is used as a pretext, even with the wall.
So you are happy to go to the negotiating table. That's where we want to end this 15 minutes of this discussion. We are going to go to a break, and then when we come back, we continue talking about really what are those practical points we can deal with on the way forward. Because really, like you said, water under the bridge, history happened, we are here now. What can we do to go forward? Stay with us as we continue this discussion on the Palestine-Israeli conflict. We're back in a moment. Stay tuned.